Welcome to the first installment of my early retirement journey. I'm 54. I'll be turning 55 this year. I've been given the green light by my financial advisor to stop working immediately. My wife will retire in 2 years when she turns 55. We have 2 kids and they are just about out of college. I'm going to list the behaviors that we've had over the years that have led us to this point. And in future videos, I'm going to go through each of those in more detail. I think the single biggest factor was that we didn't buy too much house. When we bought 25 years ago, we knew intuitively that houses and homes were an expense. They were not money makers. They were not a source of wealth. They were something that you paid for. We got a 30-year mortgage, we threw extra money at that mortgage, and we paid it off in 22 years. I think we actually got pre-approved for double the house that we actually bought. Second most important factor, I think, is we didn't buy too much car. We've never really bought new. We bought cars maybe 3 years old. When we did get loans for them, we put a lot of money down, and also we didn't get fancy cars, Accords, Ford Escapes, no BMWs, no Audis, no electric cars, none of that. Third thing is that we've generally been averse to loans. So no HELOCs, no second mortgages, no personal loans, no carrying over credit card debt. Those 3 things combined over the years reduced our baseline expenses. And with that savings, we invested in retirement accounts, taxable brokerage accounts, and savings accounts so that when things did come up, we could pay cash for them. Now, most of the rules of thumb about retirement readiness as far as the finances are concerned centers around replacing your income and having a certain amount in your investments. Stuff like you need 6 times your income saved by age 50, or that you'll need 80% of your current salary in retirement. But those guidelines assume that you spend money at the same clip that the average person does. And the average person, in my opinion, has too much house and too much car. Now, the other side of that is an expense-based approach, which is what we took. And the main guideline there is that whatever you spend in retirement, you're going to need roughly 25 times that amount in investments in order to maintain that level of spending. In other words, it's called the 4% rule. So if you have $1 million in retirement, you can safely spend roughly $40,000 per year adjusted for inflation. Here's some expenses that we have per year and how much money in investments we would need in order to maintain spending yearly on those items. One trick with the expense-based approach is that sometimes people assume that their portfolio is going to have to cover 100% of their expenses. And that's usually not the case because there's Social Security. And if you get Social Security at age 62 or 65 or whenever, that's going to take pressure off of your portfolio and you would need less than you think. Also, if you have any pensions, that also takes pressure off the spending requirement on your portfolio. And stuff like that is why the vast majority of people retire with less than $1 million. About 5 years ago, I started keeping track of every single penny we spent, put it into categories, and that allowed us to get a very good idea of how much we needed in investments, assuming we'd get Social Security down the road as well. And it also gave us some insight into what we should cut. We took a look at the groceries, and the grocery bill for 4 people, 2 of whom weren't home 75% of the time because they were away at college, we were spending $12,000 a year on groceries. That includes supplies like paper towels. So we cut that a little bit. I have a whole video about that. I've linked it down below. I'm going to make some videos in the near future going over the nuts and bolts in detail of various aspects as I go through this. As I said, I'm not retired yet. I'm still working full time, but basically this year I'm going to leave and stop working. So subscribe to the channel and join me.